Welcome to NinonSpeaks. I'm Ninon, your host, and we had an incredible guest on today. Something very intriguing that's going on in the world, and it's called the Sound of Freedom. And I think a lot of you out there probably heard about this movie, which was on the shelf for many years. It's got quite a back history, which we're going to find out. I have Jessica Brothers with me, and she was very involved with this particular movie, but she's also very involved in trafficking. Well, I had a show for 16 years called Voices of Tomorrow, and we did documentaries, we did everything in different parts of the world. And so I'm very involved with the younger generation. At that particular time, which was in the 2000s, trafficking was talked about, and it was still bad, but it wasn't like it is today. Jessica, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's so great to have you.
So good to be here.
Because we're touching on a subject. Sound of freedom.
Yes.
When people hear those words, sound of freedom, what has been the response? Has it been towards before trafficking? Before the trafficking, do people kind of say, well, what does that mean?
Yeah, people, they ask where that name came from. And I get the pleasure to know a bunch of stories firsthand from one of the executive producers, one of the hidden heroes, and a great friend of mine. And I work for his foundation as well.
And who was that?
So his name is Paul Hutchinson. Yes,
okay.
Him and his wife are just fantastic, all heart, and we are creating a movement, worworldwide movement.
Right. I want to be part of the movement.
Yes, and you are, because you're having me here today.
There you go. I've already joined the movement, but I've been with this for many years.
So Sound of Freedom actually came during one of the rescue missions. Paul says that I'm getting chills all over already. Paul said that when they rescued all the kids and they were put in a separate area to play music and have some fun, he walked into that, and the sound of the kids laughing and having a good time. He says, that sounds like freedom.
And so that's where it came from, because when he had the music, related back to this little girl that was kidnapped, that used to bang on these, what are the drums?
Yes,
or something?
the drums from the movie.
When it opens up,
yes,
and she sings a little bit, and it's like the freedom.
Yes.
And then this kind of relates all the way through the movie of freedom, and it seems to me that the younger generation do not have freedom. It seems like they're kind of caught up in a net.
Yes.
Of how can I put it? Of not. I don't want to blame the parents, but the parents, I think, not all of them, obviously, but a lot of the parents kind of neglect their children with internet, cell phone, and bedroom.
Yes. Agree.
And that seems to have got caught into a little hitch here. And I don't think it's done purposely.
I agree.
I think it's done of just becoming a habit. It was a fun thing. Have a phone.
Yes.
Have the internet.
Yes.
Have a little computer, kids' computer, whatever they have. And then it's gone into this terrible phase of there's no communication with the family.
Yeah, I agree. It's separation, right? Disconnection.
So there is freedom. There's freedom from the family, and freedom is nobody's talking to anything. They're all by themselves.
And part of me wants to think that it's part of the grooming, separating the children from the family and teaching them through the internet, the television, which is telling a vision, right?
Of course.
Not necessarily our vision,
no.
On how to behave, how to act, what to do. And so all these kids are going to the internet to be stars, to be seen.
They want to be seen. They want to be out there. They want to be something. And they think it's that easy because you see, everybody wants to be a ham. I'm in the business and I know exactly what everybody wants to be a ham.
Of course.
Maybe I started out as a ham. I don't think I did because I was modeling and I grew into it. But they all want to be out. So they see all these people on television. That doesn't mean to say that they're going to be making money or doing anything.
Yes, that is correct.
And they think they're going to make money and they're going to be this, they're going to be that, and everything's going to be easy.
So that makes it nice and easy to sway them. So, come and be a model. Come to this area like you see in the movie, and look what happens, right? These kids are filling a void through the internet, which they could get through their families.
This is going to be my break.
Yes,
this is going to be my break.
Absolutely.
I'm going to get there. So let's go back into the movie, because this movie, and we just had a little correction actually on. I turned and said to you, I think Disney had the movie 5 years ago. You said no, Fox did.
So the original deal when
Yes.
the movie was finished was with Fox International. And so Fox International gave some money to invest in, and spread awareness, do all the marketing, and really spread a worldwide awareness.
And
they were on board.
They were on board of
Yes.
helping these kids.
Absolutely. They were on board on the movie, the message. They were all about it.
And then it went on the back burner.
And then what happened is Disney bought out Fox International.
Oh, that's where so I got part of it right.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So Disney bought out Fox International and said,
Hang in.
I want nothing to do with this. Give us our money back.
Oh, really?
And that's what happened.
And did they have to give the money back?
Yeah.
Well, which was probably quite a lump sum.
Absolutely. And so then it's like, okay.
So now they own the movie though too.
Right. So it was
the movie was finished then?
The movie was finished.
So 5 years ago, this movie could have come out.
This movie could have come out, yes, some years ago.
Some years ago.
Yes, absolutely. And so then, new plan. Let's approach Amazon. Let's approach Netflix.
When you're talking about let's approach, who was approaching whom? Who owned it now?
So the original, Paul was one of them. He was one of the investors.
Yes.
And then his partners in the movie, the other executive producers,
Okay.
other people.
And who were they?
Though I don't know those names particularly.
But you know Paul.
Yes,
Okay.
I know Paul. Yes,
Okay.
yes. And so, they had to find another
Outlet.
platform.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And they were turned down left and right by Netflix. Wanted nothing to do with it. Amazon wanted nothing to do with it. So then they went to Hollywood and went to big producers of Hollywood. And nobody wanted anything to do with it.
This is very strange to me, because I had this show for 16 years of giving these children a platform to be somebody, to be something.
Yes.
That they're important because they are our next leaders of the world.
Yes.
All these kids are going to lead our world, because every day we get older. We don't get younger. Mm-hmm. I wish it went the other way sometimes, but I'm happy. It's okay. It's okay, Jessica.
It's all perspective. We are getting younger with more knowledge.
And so I'm looking. So even people in the movie industry, they all said no. Did they understand what it was? Did they see it?
I'm sure they were well aware. And I believe that is why nobody wanted to touch it. Because for me, everything's black and white. You're either on one side or the other.
Well, that's true. Because then when you have these elections, you have this person that comes in between, and when this guy or woman comes in between, his votes are either going to go left or right, mm-hmm. when he pulls out. So,
mm-hmm. Yes,
that's the name of the game. It's a terrible game. Why do you think? I don't want to say the elite, because a lot of the movie stars are elite. They're above a lot of stuff. They're super people. Why did they say no? Being involved? Not being part of it. I'm not going to accuse anybody of being part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It just to me, personally,
yes.
reveals to me what side they're on. Human trafficking is the largest growing criminal enterprise today.
Did you hear that?
And unfortunately, the consumers of it are right here in the United States.
So it's a business. Well, I think
very profitable business.
America has become, it always was, America was international, worldwide. Mm-hmm. But I think it's become even more worldwide. You've got more different nationalities and different groups from all parts of the world now living in America, wherever they live. I'm talking about the whole of America, not Vegas, but there's a lot of people in Vegas that are different nationalities, but Vegas is Vegas. But so why do you think, well, you said it, because of money?
I believe so. There's a lot of people who are business oriented. Great, I understand that.
But
and this
why
is
children?
A business because it's a dollar sign.
But it's sex.
I understand.
Now,
I can't fathom their choices.
Now I'm going to be speaking out, and a lot of you are probably not going to agree with me, which is fine. I don't mind. A lot of people have not agreed with me for many years, but I'm looking at this, and I'm saying, like you and I sitting here, a lot of women attacking this, trying to help, trying to see what we can get to. My opinion has been, especially of recent, of why don't we get a bunch of good men, righteous men, attacking, because it's the men that want these children. I'm sure there's some women out there who do too.
Yes.
But I'm talking about a majority.
Yes.
So why can't we get the good men start talking to the men that have got this sex thing? Because maybe it's an illness. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to put anything on it. Who knows what it is? But it's got to be something that's got to be resolved.
Yeah, I agree.
It has to be resolved.
Yes.
Because we got a lot of women attacking. But when women talk to a man about this, the men just brush them off because they're women. Women and men are like, we know what they're all. I'm not going to start going that way.
Yes, yes.
We're all know when we talk to a man, it's different than a man talking to a man.
Yes.
When a man talks to a man, they listen. When a woman talks to a man, half the time they're watching TV.
I get it, and I hear that. I do. I hear that.
Why? I don't see any of that out there. I don't see groups of. I've seen some men,
yes.
but I don't see because this is a man's thing. This is a man wanting sex with a 12-year-old,
right.
a 5-year-old,
right.
or whatever age.
Yes. However, women are a huge part of this too. A lot of them are the ringleaders.
So they're the ones that go and get the children.
Get the children, kind of run these operations. Unfortunately, yes.
So now we've got my whole philosophy has gone by the wind. Not really, but why would a woman, and you said yes, money.
This is a great question. You know what my answer is? Hurt people hurt people.
So they've been hurt through their life, or maybe they were abused when they
100%.
were 12, 5, whatever age they
Yeah.
were, and they're going to get you.
I'm not here to judge the people who are doing
neither am
this.
I. No.
I'm not here to judge the people who turned down the movie. It just shows to me, it reveals to me, they need help. They are hurting.
Well, they need help just as much as
anyone who's been abused, been put through trauma, and they too have some significance in their history, in their past, that have brought them to where they are today, to make those choices, to be so disconnected, to make a choice of $$ over a child.
Especially a woman.
Yes.
Because a woman is the one that gives birth.
Absolutely. So imagine, these are the numbers. 40% of women are sexually abused at a young age in their homes. And don't even talk about it. Don't have the resource or ever heal from it. Most of those women...
You're saying 40% of young girls are abused by
Sexually abused by,
could be their brother or their father.
Yes.
And could it also be the mother?
Yeah.
Occasionally,
Family member.
Family member. So it's a family thing.
Yes, so a portion of those, yes, is direct family. Others, are outside of the family, whether they're raped,
could be a
boyfriend, it could be a babysitter, who knows, someone in their church and school. I mean, all of these.
Okay, so then I have another philosophy. So how do we get the children to speak up? Because they're threatened. The children are threatened, like, if you say anything to your mum, dad, whomever you say something to, do not, because I will do this to your cat or your dog or your this or your that. They put these things, these fear. Now, children, they're not fearless. Children are fearless until you threaten them of a personal thing.
Yes, yes. So spreading awareness, education on all of this is really important to not only all ages but children, because even children are being taught to traffic other children now. So I mean, the last thing you want is to be on the beach with your family and your kids are playing and other kids come over, play with them, and before you know it, they're migrating down the beach together, or
then all of a sudden the child's gone.
Right, exactly.
So keep an eye on your child. I often see this out. Actually, I see kids running around in these shopping centres and things, and I'm looking at them, and I want to say to the mother or the father or both, keep an eye on your kid, because they'll just get that kid just like that.
And again, we don't want to create fear.
Well, no, that's the problem.
So it's awareness.
Do?
It's awareness. It's awareness and education. Teach your kids that this is going on. Be aware that is going on. Don't turn your back to this subject. It's the fact that we don't want to talk about it that this is growing. Because now they're getting away with it.
And the bad thing about the whole thing is, it's all to do with having sex.
Yes.
Isn't that the sad part?
It is.
Because that's all it is.
Disconnected from yourself. And I believe, that's what I believe the root of all this is. If we can start teaching kids right now to connect with themselves. They're so disconnected. They want validation from everyone on the internet. What about validation within themselves?
Yes.
What about love for themselves?
Absolutely. One of my things I love to say is go to your bedroom where it's all nice and quiet and sit on I'm talking about an adult, and sit on your bed and just give yourself some time.
Yes.
And let yourself know that you are a person, and these are certain things in life that if you do these things the right way, then the right thing might come back and you might be able to get out of this dilemma. In other words, if you were abused as a child, try to let it out within yourself, that because you blame yourself for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the majority of people in this world actually, they put themselves down.
Yes, they do. They don't feel worthy.
No.
They feel like it's their fault. And then they blame themselves, and then their worth, their heart.
Then they're worth nothing.
Yes.
And that's how they feel.
Yes.
And everybody, let me tell you something, every single one of you worldwide is somebody. You're in this world for a reason. You are somebody.
Yes.
I don't care if you're fat. I don't care if you're skinny. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what language you speak. You are. We're all the same.
Yes.
We're all the same all over the world.
Yes. And not just that, no matter how old you are, you matter. Your voice matters. What you think, what you feel matters.
It does matter because you're a person.
Yes.
You're the same as I am.
Absolutely.
You have your thoughts. We both have thoughts about a little bit the same. I'm going to go back to the movie. So anyway, this movie goes into Hollywood, and now we've got the owners, which is the foundation, now owns the movie.
So the collective of whoever did this movie own it, and they decide to go grassroots because everyone else is turning them down. So that's when they find Angel Studios, and they give Angel Studios distribution rights to the movie.
And that started the ball rolling.
And that's how it got
so
into
Angel
theaters.
Studios knew where to put it and what to do with it.
Yes.
Did Angel... Oh, well, you probably can't answer this. I don't know. Did they think that this would really be that big?
Well, my guess would be that if they didn't, they would not have taken on the project.
So I'm going back down to money again.
However, I believe it's a lot bigger than anyone could have imagined.
I think so too. And I think, for people, I'm going to shiver. I think
Same.
because of people like you that are spreading the word. And when I look at you, I expected an older woman. I could never met you before, Jessica, but I heard about you. And then I see you come in, I think, yeah, because I have the back for the younger generation. I love the younger generation. But when you're out there doing this, now they can communicate with a younger face, a younger body, a younger, knowledgeable person of what's going on today behind the scenes and what's happening. What made you go into all this?
Well, I've always, since I was a little girl, I was told that there was going to be something very impactful you will be part of. I knew it. I knew it from when I was young.
Wow.
I didn't know what it was. However, a couple of years ago, I had a very impactful dream. I've had extremely incredible experiences happen in my life. We can talk about some other time, possibly.
Well, you can mention them now. Go ahead.
I've developed a picture of a real angel. I've had spiritual experiences around me where I'd wake up with auras around me.
I can understand that.
And just to touch on a few, and so I had a very real dream a couple years ago that when I woke up, I was a different person. It was about human trafficking.
Wow.
And it was profound. I still can remember and see the details in my mind today, 2 years later. So about a year ago, I was down in Mexico at a business mastermind, and a speaker came up on stage, started talking about human trafficking, and I lost it. And I'm not typically a very emotional person. It takes a lot to get me going.
Get you going, yeah.
I lost it, and I just all of a sudden the dream I had all made sense.
It all came together.
Yes.
So you were meant to be in Mexico for that particular message.
100%.
Just that message.
And that
regardless
person,
what you went for.
Yes, and that person too, they almost didn't go, and they were told to go. There's going to be someone there for you.
Well, I agree with that. I agree. You're put in places. I just had a entry into a business I was in, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. I really, truly don't know what happened. Anyway, it was to do with real estate, and now I'm back in it again. And I turned to the person. I had a meeting Saturday. I turned to the person. I said, "Why did you choose me? What's the reason?" I said, "I was here, and then you kind of let me go, and I disappeared. Whatever happened?" And then he gave this breakdown. But I already knew that. I already knew why he had me there.
Of course.
And I already knew that and it's funny because before all that, I had decided that, Ninon, you've got to take charge of yourself now and do your thing. And all this came into place of what I wanted, and it all fell into place, which is what I want right now, which will put me into a completely different place to where I am and where I'm going.
Yes.
Which is just what happened to you. Being at the right place at the right time is not an accident.
And absolutely not. There's everything is happening the way it should.
And it should. So anyway, we're going back and forth with this movie because it's fascinating. So now you've got The Angels, funny the name, and so now it's out in the theaters and everything else. And what did you actually think of all this? Because you kind of know the history of it. You knew somebody that was playing the part in the movie.
Yes, Paul.
Paul, you know him personally.
Yes.
And wait a second. So he actually went through all this.
Yeah, he was one of the men who was undercover doing the rescue missions.
So he knew the story.
This is about him. And Tim Ballard.
And Tim Ballard.
Which he was partners with. And yeah.
And the whole bit. So it was all about. So he actually not invented his story, but reactivated the real story.
Yes. So the Sound of Freedom movie, I believe, was about 20 or so hidden heroes, which I call them, put into one story. So there's so many wonderful people part of these real life rescue missions that did incredible things that when it came to the movie, they couldn't put everyone in it. So the movie itself is a compilation of all of these characters kind of in a story.
Like in Paul was the one telling the story. Paul knew where to go, what to do, how to do it. So he made this kind of a real life story because it was a real life story.
Yes, it absolutely is a real life story. So he plays the character Pablo. So he was in his own life, he was owning a real estate investment company, very successful.
Is he still in that?
He's obviously still owns it. He's retired from it because he's dedicated his entire life to total eradication of human trafficking.
The strangest thing is, this is not a mistake either. Because you talk about he was investing in real estate, and that's what I'm doing right now.
Yes.
Isn't that weird?
Yes.
Investing, because I've got all this real estate, because I've been doing real estate for years, and now I'm looking for investors and looking for people that can help me get to where I want to get. See, nothing. So he, any reason why he went for it, or why did he have somebody in his family which was?
No. So Tim came to him. Tim and he was approached. He was approached by it's escaping me right now. It will come back. He was approached and said, "Hey, we need your help."
To Paul.
Yes, we need your help. You are extremely skilled in some martial arts, a form that not many people are trained in.
Yeah.
And you're a businessman that can put on an expensive suit and a nice watch and do business deals. And look, I have all these ex-Navy SEALs. I have all these people that can, that are trained, but they can't go in undercover in a nice business suit and make these business deals. You're a very unique character, and we need your help. And if you help us, we will change your life. And if you watch the movie, he said yes. And once he saw what was going on in there, he dedicated his life to it, and this is what we're doing today.
So he's dedicated his life right now to it.
Yeah, so he started the missions. When he started the missions, it was 8 million a year were being trafficked. After the missions, a few years of it, it was up to 10 million. He said, wait a minute. This is not helping. I mean, these missions are great, rescuing these children.
But we've got to do it a different way.
We got to do it a different way. And we realized that the root cause is hurt people hurt people. So the healing.
So it's the healing.
It's the healing.
So if you don't nip it in the bud to where it is, it'll spread. Because
Yes.
that's the old saying. If you
Yes.
don't nip something in the bud, it's going to get, it's going to blossom.
Absolutely.
And then get larger and larger. So what is your idea with this freedom movie and everything else being a success? So well, I don't know if everybody went to see the movie to actually help, but I'm sure they went to see the movie to see what it was about. So you've got some of the predators seeing the movie to see what people are doing and how they're doing it, so they don't get caught. I'm sure those things happen
I'm
too.
sure.
You have to be pretty open to that.
Yes.
You've got to be realistic
Of course.
as to what's going. So what is your aim right now? What do you think would be the main thing that we can all do? And I'm talking we all, even the people that are doing this, the pedophiles and everybody, even what they're doing, how can they kind of twist and turn and not do this to our children?
Yes.
Under 18.
Yes. So
Well, what's the main thing?
the main thing, whether you're a victim of this, whether you're someone doing this, whether you're just a normal family and you want to help, whether you're a family that is scared of this subject, I'm speaking to everyone right now.
Yes, you are.
The best thing to do is go within and find love for yourself, because we can only love to the capacity that we love ourselves. Create that relationship within yourself, especially maybe that broken little boy or little girl. They're crying out for help. That is why you're doing what you're doing. You just want to feel love, and we all deserve it, and you do matter. And there's hope. There's hope.
There's two things in this world that will never disappear. One is love. We all want to be loved, whether we get loved by the cat, the dog, the man, the woman, whatever the case may be. We all want to be loved.
Yes.
And the other thing is music.
Yes.
Music won't go. So when you're feeling a bit depressed and a bit down, put on some of your favorite music, but not the loud go-go music. And get something a little tranquil, little to calm you down a little bit, and start looking at yourself. And even if you look in the mirror and say, "Well, I'm ugly and I'm fat and I'm this," we can all do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
I don't
not
care.
love.
No, I don't care how skinny you are. You still find fault with yourself.
You
It's
do.
the weirdest thing. I don't know where all that came from, but majority of people put themselves down.
It's because it's not a physical thing. It's an energetic thing. It's somewhere in our life, our spirit has been hurt.
Has been lost. We've lost our spirit.
Disconnected, hurt, lost.
Do you think the younger generation do not know what spirit is, or do you think that should be explained a little bit more? Because when they think of spirit, they sort of think of Jesus or God and think of all this stuff, and then they I don't have anything to do with religion, blah, 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 blah.
Right, right.
So do they explain it a little better?
To me, there's a difference between religion and spirituality.
Well, yeah, there's a big difference.
Yes.
Big
Yes.
difference.
And when I talk about spirit, I'm talking about your soul.
Yeah, you.
The thing that makes you alive, who you are, and your relationship
with
you.
you.
That.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's having a relationship with you.
Yes. Yes. And that power, because that power that's in me is also in you. So if I have a relationship with it inside me, that means I know that you also have it, and I'm going to treat it with respect the same way I respect it inside me.
You respect with you. So with the younger generation that are kind of going to the rooms with the cell phones and the internet and everything else, and there's a lot of great parents out there. Don't misunderstand us or what we're saying. There's a tremendous amount. Can they all not help? Can they not sort of, with the, like, they've got kids and they've got boys and girls, and boys and girls have friends. So they've got them coming to the house, and to make sure, to look. I mean, I think any parent can tell whether the kid is taking drugs or not.
Yes.
If they pay attention.
If they're paying attention.
All you have to do is look at their eyes.
Yes.
I don't take drugs and don't do any of that stuff, but that doesn't make me goody two shoes either. Well, it doesn't. To somebody's eyes out there. But I mean, as a parent, don't you know your child? You got to get to know your child. You have the child since birth.
Yeah, you would think so. Some parents, unfortunately, get so distracted with work and making ends meet that they're so disconnected with themselves.
That's
because they haven't healed from their traumas. So therefore they're passing off in their children and the relationship with their children. And we only know what we know until you know. So
great saying, right? You don't know until you know.
Exactly. And so the best thing to do, number one, go see the movie, Sound of Freedom, just so you can see what's going on.
Be aware.
Yes. And then spread the awareness of it. And we have a ton of resources. We are right now creating a movement, events. You're going to see, I'm opening the first chapter of Child Liberation Foundation here in Vegas.
Child Liberation
Foundation.
I'm going to be part of that.
Yes, absolutely. And we're going to spread worldwide very quickly. I'm putting together an entire years long of events in a tour that we're going to speak about this. We're going to spread healing. We're going to spread education and awareness. We're bringing in a ton of people. So Child Liberation Foundation is a 10-year-old foundation. It is Paul Hutchinson's, but it's been private to obviously the security of his he was undercover in his face. It is now going public.
He's gone public then.
Yes, he is now public. You will see him speaking all over.
I'd love to meet this guy. Sounds amazing.
Incredible human. And we are spreading this awareness. We are on a very large mission, and this will get accomplished. And so we are having a bunch of resources.
So you're determined to do this?
There's no other way.
Now, you're not married?
I am going through a separation.
Uh-oh. Well, I'm not going to say it's good or bad. It's indifferent. It's what you've chosen. You have children?
I do have a son.
You have a son. And I guarantee Jessica protects him 100% without him probably even knowing.
He knows all about this.
No, but I mean, you protect him in many, many ways.
Of course.
Because otherwise they get offended and they'll go the other way and they get shut up and everything else. Because the worst thing you could do to your child is to not threaten them, but to let them know, well, I know what's going on. It's like, then they'll clam up and you'll hear nothing.
Yeah, I give him freedom of choice. And that's what it is. So that way
How
he trusts
old is he?
himself. He's 8.
Oh, he's only 8, so
He's
give him
only
freedom of choice.
I do.
And
So
what does he, as a child, does he have any opinion of all this?
he sure does. He wants to save the children.
So could he actually get up there and speak?
He could. He's been to many of so I run events here all the time. He's been to them and he speaks when he wants to. And anytime we're out, he's always got his eyes on the kids. Mom, where's the parents of that child?
See, I do the same thing. I was saying in shopping centres, you see a
Yes.
child running around. And it's like, I remember I saw this kid and they probably thought I was after the kid, but I wasn't. I said, where's your mum? Or your dad? I said, where's anybody?
Yes.
Oh, no. Well, I think you need to take care of your child.
Yes.
Especially this day and age.
Yes.
Why you said that, you already answered that. Why is it so prominent right now? It's because of the money. Now, money is the root of all evil. We all know that. Or maybe we don't know that. But
Is it the money or is it the people behind the money? Because we can't blame it on the actual physical money.
it's the people behind the money of what it's actually sex. It's what they want.
Yeah.
I mean, if they didn't,
The power.
it's the power of doing what they want to do, and it's mostly men. I don't think it's the women that actually have the sexual part of it, though they, as you've explained to me, they have part of it. But it's the men that actually, how do we control that? I mean, do we get it off the internet? Because men see this on the internet. They get all men get roused. I mean, you can't help that. They're men are men.
Well, again, it comes back to their abused background. They're hurt in some way, and no matter how much money they have, they want more because they're trying to fill a void that can't be filled with money or with sex.
It's so true.
And that's what it is.
So true about money, because there's a lot of men out there and women that they've got billions and they still feel that they haven't achieved their goal and they haven't made enough money, so they go and try to make more.
Yes.
Well, what are you going to do with it all?
Yeah, they're victim of some sort of abuse or trauma from their past that they've never healed.
What would you like to see happen in the near future, or the next 6 months, of how? Because there's people going to do this.
Yes.
People are going to help people. People are going to help the children. There's nobody out there. I mean, we all probably take care of our animals sometimes better than our children.
Yes.
I hate to say that.
It's
but
so true.
An animal can't feed itself, though there's a lot of people who've left animals out there and they've had to feed themselves. And what have happened to them?
Yes.
They got skinny, they got the hair. So what would you like to see happen? I'm just going to say 6 months is a short time, but could that progress into something really good?
Absolutely. So in 6 months, I want everyone to know who Child Liberation Foundation is.
Okay.
We are being an umbrella foundation, meaning we're not singling. We are
open. You're out there now.
We want people to come and join us. We're building, for lack of a better word, our army. That's what we're doing.
Building your
we
army.
will take other people that are already doing healing, awareness, education, anything to help eradicate human trafficking. People who are already doing great things, please reach out to me.
You must know Lena. Do you know Lena?
Lena.
Lena, she's the consulate for Sweden.
Oh.
Lena Wilhelm. She's a very, very good friend of mine.
Wonderful.
And she has a foundation for trafficking.
Wonderful. If Paul doesn't already know her, then it's definitely.
We're going to.
Yes.
I'll get the introduction for that because I know her. She's just sweet. I've known her for years.
Yeah, and we're here to support them too.
And she lives here.
Yeah,
she's
wonderful.
part of that, so
Great.
I can get involved with that as well.
Great.
My show and anything else. So you feel that if we expose Paul, we're going to get you out there, and he's really up to all this now.
Oh, 100%.
So
yes.
He's ready to let his foundation be open. I was going to say, I wonder why he had it closed so much, but there was obviously reasons which you explained why he had it closed. But now he doesn't want to close it because he sees as you said, it was going from this amount of children to this amount of children.
Yes.
And it's all under 18.
Yes.
Probably under 16, probably under 14.
Right. Yeah, teens and younger. I mean, it starts as... It can start all the way from 4 years old. In the beginning of the movie, you see little babies being ripped out of people's hands. Grooming really starts around 8 years old. That's a prime age to groom these kids. And
do you often think, and this is a very delicate subject, but I'll bring it out because even children have feelings.
Of course.
So when a sexual act is sort of starting, that child has the feeling. So the child has the feeling for the sex because the child's been aroused in a way, because we all have feelings, and as you start getting a little bit older, you have these sexual feelings. So the child really, sometimes you've got to turn around and say, well, the child can't stop what's happening because the child is a human being.
Of course.
So how do we work that around? Because they're humans. They have sexual feelings.
Yes. It's, I can speak to this on a personal note because I come from, I was sexually abused at a young age. And for me, getting through that was tough because my emotional connection to sexual anything was, it was just to have that feeling, but yet I felt like I was doing something wrong.
You knew you were doing something wrong, but at the same time, the sexual feeling overtook that wrong feeling.
Right, and so I was very disconnected from my body.
You were disconnected from yourself, yes.
Yes, every time I would have sex, I had to disconnect from my body so my body could go through it.
And you probably, and I don't want to say you enjoyed it because you didn't, but what I'm trying to get at is you have those feelings,
of course,
that you can't stop.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I was fortunately touch wood or whatever I need to touch. I was fine as a child. My mum and dad were fine, and I didn't have a problem. But I go back to that, and I think, well, sometimes these little girls, they've got to have feelings, and so they go for it. Mm-hmm. But they know it's wrong. Some of them.
So what happens is they create a disconnection from their body, especially from their feminine energy.
And you know this.
Yes, you disconnect from it, and that emotional attachment that you have to sex is very disrupted, and that's why a lot of women end up going to
becoming
prostitutes, and then down the darker path into human trafficking.
But they I'm not going to say they enjoy it, but it's what they know.
That's all they know.
That's all they know.
That's all they know.
So me bringing up the subject, which was probably not quite so bad to bring it up, because I've got from you exactly what I was saying, that these young girls have these feelings and you can't help it. But as you said, the only way you can deal with it is disconnect from you, your human being.
Yes.
How many years were you abused?
Into my 20s.
And it was a family member?
Yes, it started out as a family member, and then I allowed men to do it as I got older, and not just sexually, but physically, verbally, mentally. I allowed all of it because I felt like that's what I deserved. That's what I thought I deserved.
That's what you thought you deserved. You had not gone. Well, another question. Boy, this gets deeper and deeper. I'm afraid to ask any more questions because I'm getting the correct answer right here.
Yes.
How did you change?
I had to learn
to love you?
Myself.
Go to that bedroom, sit on the bed, and love you.
I had to go inside and fix my relationship with myself.
And how did you know to do that though?
Well,
somebody must have said something to you. Something must have happened.
I had a turning point. So I became very angry. I trained in Muay Thai, kickboxing. I became a competitive kickboxer.
All right, I'll behave myself with you.
Yes.
I'll get kickboxed.
However, I did it for the wrong reasons. I did it to fight. I did it to
anger.
Yes.
You wanted to get your anger out.
Yes, and
because you were angry with you.
I was angry at the world. I was angry at everybody because I was the victim. That was my mentality. I'm the victim. Everyone's doing everything to me. My last fight.
So this is the same reason as all these men that do all this pornographic stuff.
Yes.
So maybe we could open the path up there.
Yes.
Address yourself.
100%.
Start addressing who you are, what you are. So anyway, sorry I interrupted
It's
you.
Okay.
So anyway, go through, continue.
Yeah, my last fight, I hurt the opponent.
Was it a woman or a man?
A woman.
A woman, oh, okay.
And I hurt her, and for the first time I felt really bad, and I just had this awakening, this revelation. I said, wow, Jessica, you're such a powerful person. Imagine if you used all that power for good instead of thinking it was bad.
Because, for you to come through with that and to recognize that, I mean, were you sitting? Were you looking in the mirror? Were you driving? Were you what happened?
I was sitting there after the fight and knew I had hurt her. I felt it. I knew I did because I felt the release in me.
And she knew you hurt her because she hurt.
Yes, absolutely.
Did you fight after that?
No, that was it.
I figured that.
And from that point on, I started the journey of my relationship with myself. It started with every single time a language of conversation would happen in my head, be like, no, that's not me talking. Because if that was me, I wouldn't be choosing that. I wouldn't be choosing that.
I wouldn't be choosing to do that or to have that.
Yes.
So how long did it take you to actually, get your sort of, I'm not going to say act together, but get yourself from one place to another place? So from an angry place within hating yourself to a place where you love yourself.
Well, I would say that in that moment, it happened immediately. And I'll
Cool.
explain. Immediately.
So it can happen right away.
Well, because it's a choice. It's a choice to start loving yourself. However, the journey of healing all those pieces still happen today. Because every day we go through things, right?
We do, but I'm fortunate. I'm one of those people. I don't give anger back. I actually sit back a little bit and I wait, because it's like when somebody darts in front of me. I just had it on the freeway. Somebody just nearly crashed into me just now, and fortunately there was no car next to me. I swerved over. But I wasn't angry.
Right, and that's emotional intelligence, because you realizing it's your choice in how to respond.
Yes, and then sometimes if I get then move out the way, and I turn and it's an old person. I look up and say, "Oh God, forgive me." It's an old person trying to get from A to B. It's life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're all different.
Yes.
So you turned out, and now you are doing what you're doing, and I would imagine you recognize every single thing that goes on.
I do.
You know exactly what's going on and what's happening. Funny, I was in a restaurant several years ago, and right opposite, I was sitting at this sort of bar with a gentleman, and right opposite me was a man, and there was a young girl. And I kept looking, and the guy kept looking at me, but not for me. And I knew that there was a problem between him and her. I knew she was looking at me for something. I turned my head to talk to my gentleman friend, and in that second, he walked out. And I wanted to follow and walk. Oh God, I chills. And I wanted to follow and walk out. I don't know what I was going to do, but I wanted to do something, talk to him or talk to her. But I knew she was looking at me because it just didn't match.
Yes.
And I often, obviously, think of it. I'm thinking of it now. But I often think that if more people saw something, in fact, now I'm very much aware when I see little young kid. Oh, Steve, can you turn that off? Oh. Sorry about that, guys, but I'm human.
Someone
But
wants her attention.
Someone something. But and I often think, be aware. Watch out there. If you see something unusual,
Yes.
would you agree with that?
Yes. So this is my experience. Yeah. Be aware. And the closer you are with yourself and the more love you feel for yourself, the more aware you're going to become, because you're going to feel the difference of what love is compared to disconnection.
Yes.
If you're disconnected, you're not going to be aware of the disconnection around you.
No.
Because it's all going to be the same.
It's going to be like you. So you don't recognize anything.
Absolutely. So that's why it's so important to have that relationship with yourself, especially if you want to start helping with this mission of eradication.
And why can't we all start doing that? I know we're probably asking a lot, aren't we? You and I, Jessica and I, are asking a lot for start to be aware. And I'm going to just go into whomever it may be, but to children. To be aware of what's going on with their children.
Yes.
We as parents, or not parents, or we as adults are out there to guide them, to look after them, to take care of them, to give them maybe what you didn't have, or maybe what happened to you, you are now giving back.
Of course.
You're now giving back because you know.
Mm-hmm.
So when you saw the movie, you might have thought, oh, that's my cup of tea.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Right. Yeah, well, it happened way before the movie that I knew
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
However, yes, that movie is incredible to help people understand.
Just understand the process, how it works.
The capacity of what this nature is and what's really happening. It's real.
It is real. It is for real. We're not
Yes.
joking around here. And unfortunately, the unfortunate part, money is the root of all evil. And money is obviously attached to this at the very end or the very beginning, I guess, beginning through all the way through. That if it wasn't for the money, and if they weren't, then you've got all the money and now you want all the sex and you want everything because you think you're so up there and you're so great and you can have anything in the world.
Right.
Like that guy that got caught. And I don't like to mention names, as you all very well know. And it's like, eventually you've got to deal with yourself.
Yes, you do.
You've got to deal with it. So deal with it sooner than later. Right?
Yes, like right now.
Deal with it.
How about you place your hands on your heart, you close your eyes, and you feel the breath in your own lungs right now.
Okay, do you know what she just said? Say it again.
Put your hands on your heart. Close your eyes. Breathe. And feel your lungs fill and empty. And feel yourself. And then be aware of the words that come to your head. Because if I were to say to you, would you hate yourself? Would you purposely hate yourself? Most of the time the answer is no. You wouldn't purposely hate yourself. That means those voices inside your head aren't you. Because if you wouldn't choose to beat on you, if you wouldn't choose to poke and prod at yourself, which most people would answer no, because the real answer is no, you wouldn't do that.
Of course you wouldn't. So why?
Yeah, be aware of that language.
Yes.
That's not you speaking.
No, that's somebody else. You can call it the devil. You can call it whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
Anything. Doesn't matter what you call it.
So then what would you say? Hear those words and say, that's not true. That's not me. What would I say instead?
Yes.
And that's where it begins.
And that's where it begins. And that's when you become you. That's when you
Yes.
start understanding who you are.
Yes.
What is your purpose in this world? Why were you brought into this world? You weren't brought into this world to destroy somebody else.
No.
You're
Absolutely.
brought into this world to create
Yes.
and become your own person.
Yes.
And create whatever you can. Look what you did. You've been through a lot of stuff, and now you're going through a divorce. So it's like you've been through all of it. And so I think by the time you get your divorce over and everything over, now this is 100% your time, you and your son.
Yes.
Because your son's, I assume, the most important person in your world at the moment.
Is, of course.
And he always will be.
Yes, he
He'll
will.
always have the mother protection, and why not? And so you've got a goal in mind of not only taking care of your own child, but taking care of other children.
Yes, absolutely. And I would like to see kids educated on a different level. instilling that they have the answers instead of everything being external. Let's start teaching them that things are internal. Trust yourself, trust your word, trust that when you make a mistake, it's there so that, you learn what
that mistake is.
Yes, exactly.
Don't pass it down.
Exactly. It's all part of it. You don't fail. You stumble and you get back up.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget to, I have a great saying, and many years ago, and I saved a couple of actually fathers on this, and I was doing a speech and I said, just listen. Just listen to your child. Don't interject with your story. Just listen. The child is going to be, and that might aggravate you, but a child is growing up and they don't know how to speak exactly clearly as I'm supposed to speak. And just listen to that child, because that child's story might be something you really need to hear.
Yes.
If you interrupt that child, their mindset goes in one ear and out the other very, very fast. So their attention span is kind of neutral. So when they've got this story that they want to tell you, it doesn't matter how long it takes. Just listen to them.
Absolutely.
Sit back. Don't tell your story. Just listen to what they have to say, because it could save that child. It could save you. It could save an awful lot of stuff.
Yeah, and encourage children to speak. And encourage and instill the fact that they matter. Their emotions matter.
Their words matter.
Doesn't matter what age you are.
I don't care if they're 6 months old.
Yeah.
They Google. They do all sorts of things, and you listen to that, which aren't really words, but you know exactly what to do.
Absolutely.
So when the child gets a little 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, whatever the age is, listen.
Yeah.
Because they have a lot of important things. Just because I don't like to call them children. I still think we're all people, and then we're children, and then we're in this middle, and then we're old.
Yeah. Who's old here? I don't know anyone here that's old.
Neither do I. But that's what it is. You've got these categories, and it's not. We're just one thing going through years. Some go shorter years than others. Depends on when God wants you.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, one message to the mums out there.
What
would you like to say to the mums and the dads as well?
Yes. Well, first I would like to say, go inward. Go within yourself. Find your love within yourself, and teach that to all the children. Whether you have children or not, maybe you're ready to have children, start a family of your own. Make sure that you have worked through your traumas, your relationship with yourself, the voices that you hear that don't serve you. Make sure you work through that, because whatever you are as a parent or as someone that a child looks up to, you will also instill in them. And we don't always mean to put our burdens on them. However, they do happen. Yeah. So deal with your own stuff. Come to peace within yourself. That way we can help the generation who's next to come forward peacefully and be who they are. And we can stop this human trafficking.
Yeah, let's get a hold of it. It's gone too far.
Yes.
And The Sound of Freedom. Don't forget to see the movie if you haven't. And if you're inclined, see it a second time, because the second time might really register of what's going on.
Absolutely.
I feel that, because it's such a deep movie, and it goes on a long time, but it's just a very deep movie. I want to thank everybody out there for watching this. This is a very important guest for me, because it reaches my heart that I've been over for so many, many years, because I left home when I was 16, and fortunately I worked and I did what I was supposed to do, and those days things like this didn't happen. Otherwise they could have happened to me. Yeah. I remember turning a job down. It was Wilhelmina and her husband Bob, and they came from New York to London, and they wanted to take me to New York, and I didn't know who they were. And I thought, I don't know, I was 22 at the time, 21, I don't know, I was very young. And I said, no, I didn't think I wanted to go there with these two. I didn't know who they were. I did not realize she was one of the biggest modeling agencies, and she wanted to bring me to New York and obviously present me in New York, because I turned it down. But that's okay, because that was my gut feeling telling me that. Whether it was good, bad, right or wrong, this is where I am right now.
Yes.
But just take care of your children. Thank you again for watching, and do whatever you can with trafficking. Child trafficking. It's become an epidemic, and we now have to, until it came to this point, we kind of put it to one side, but now it's an epidemic.
Yes.
So now it's up to all of us out there to do whatever we can. So let's just, instead of saying, oh, yes, I'll help, and then sit back and do nothing, do something.
Yes.
Do something. Save a child. Save a child from this torture of life that they have feelings for, because we went through that as well. Thank you again. And don't forget to go to NDD Network. That's on YouTube. See all our films, see everything we're doing. And thank you so much. Jessica, thank you for giving the story.
Thank you. I appreciate
and understanding what the world is about now.
Yes.
And we're going to help it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Take care, everybody. Thank you for watching.